This is Simply Lovaii, and you're listening to the expert with a heart.
Powered by Timber Media.
All right, welcome to another episode of Simply Lovaii, everybody. Ahalya here, keeping you company, and we've got two experts with hearts on the episode today to talk to us about a very important topic, which is retirement planning. Now, you may think I am nowhere close to retirement age, but hey, I'm always concerned about it. So I have a lot of questions to ask today. And before we started the recording, I already got a taste of some of the blind spots that I'm not considering. So it's going to be an informative episode. Let's dive in. We've got Lovaii Navlakhi, of course, CEO and MD of International Money Matters Private Limited, and also joining us, Rohini Priyanka, who is a senior financial advisor at IMMPL and a certified financial transitionist as well. Hi, Rohini. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
All right. So to start it off, I'm going to take from that introduction. Retirement does feel really far away from me, even though I wish it weren't sometimes. But, there's always the question of when does a person start to plan officially for their retirement, right? And I don't think it's the same answer as, investing. People always say, okay, when should I start investing? And the answer is always the earlier the better. But is that the same answer for retirement planning as well?
I think so. Honestly, when I think of retirement, I also feel it's quite far away. And I used to think that, do I really need to think about it now? But luckily for me, what has happened is I get to meet a lot of clients, right, who are passing from different phases of their life, have done various actions and the implications of those actions, right? So I get to see those real-time, journeys, and that's where I realize that it's very important to start thinking about it now, and especially the Gen Zs and millennials and the whole thought process changing, right? Where they think about early retirement or financial freedom. I think it's very important to start thinking about it much sooner, rather than, delaying the whole thought about, what you want it to be like. In fact, there's one client who started when he was around, he started thinking about the plan around 30s. And so we did the plan. So the plan was initially to retire at 55, 60, so typical retirement age. And now in the last couple of years, what we are looking for him is retiring at an early, around maybe 48, 46. He's around 45, so he's like constantly asking, can I retire, in the next 2 years, right? So, and in fact, when we did the plan, it's possible. Of course, with small tweaks, it's possible. And the reason it's possible because he started at a very early age, right? He has that flexibility to take that call of, okay, enough is enough, let me take it up. So if he wouldn't have started at maybe 28, 30s, it wouldn't have been possible. So the whole flexibility of you choosing when you want to take up retirement was possible because he's built that corpus enough.
I think, frankly, in this case that he mentioned, the thought comes to me that because I started early and retirement was a priority, I earmarked some amount for retirement and didn't use it up for, immediate sort of benefits, right? I think that probably makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the answer is the same. The earlier, the better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think retirement, frankly, is theoretically is the time where you say, I'm not depending on working income to take care of my needs. So I'm saying I'm, earning 100 rupees a day or 100 rupees a month. Today, it's going to become zero on so-and-so date. And frankly, in real life, we are not seeing that happening as much as it used to in the past, where there was retirement was actually retirement. You retired, you got your pension, and you sat at home, right? And there's no other income, at least from work. Then you have to look at your investments to generate income for you. So that has changed.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's take it from there. How is the concept of it changed for people? Have you seen, is it like a generational thing where you've seen the concept of retirement also evolve? Or does it mean the same thing?
I think 15 to 20 years ago, there used to be this whole drive for people to retire at 40. So what you're hearing as FIRE today, the whole terminology was retire at 40. And financial product manufacturers were happily selling products that here, this will help you retire at 40. So who was consuming it? The 25-year-olds, right? And they're saying, okay, in 15 years I want to retire. So I think that because there was a hype about retire at 40, it became, okay, I should achieve that. Then it, somewhere along the way, I think the global financial crisis came in. People forgot about this. Because then you say, okay, now I have to figure out a way to work, get income. Yeah. There has been a gap or a cut in my income. So that thought just went out and that concept went away post global financial crisis. Nobody ever spoke about that. Till now in the last few years, you hear FIRE.
A resurgence of,
You hear FIRE because somebody has coined it and say, oh great, financially independent, retire early. Okay. I don't know what it means. I think both things are independent, right? You can be independent and you don't have to retire. So,
yeah, it just depends. Do you like working? That's all.
Yeah, but I'm sure everybody likes to do something.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, whether that something is going to give you income at the same levels at which you use your qualifications and experience to get some income or not, that's a moot point. But I think there are many cases where people have moved from corporate jobs to doing something in the social sector and less. And the equally, I would say equal number of cases where people have retired from a particular role in a corporate and then got back into consulting or advisory in maybe a different role and now actually earning absolute amount more with less amount invested in terms of time.
Fair enough. And, just to go on a tangent, it's also extremely important to stay engaged with something and with life in general. Rohini?
I think definitely it's changing. And with adding to what Lovaii mentioned, so all these new terminologies, right? Micro-retirement, mini-retirement, semi-retirement, and then you get into the full retirement. So I think with all these thought process change that we are seeing around can I retire early? Can I take this up at 40 or at 45? When can I attain the financial freedom? So these are the common questions that we see around, a lot more people. I think that's also because the whole changing job market that we are seeing, right? There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of people feeling burnt out at work. And that's where they are seeing, can I take that up early? And so that's why all these new terminologies. One other thing that's also changing is with the medical advancements, you see the life expectancy increasing, right? So now, people are living longer. Almost more than 1/3 of lifespan is in the retirement. So that's such a big number. And if you don't really plan it well. Yes. And now think about this, changing mindsets, which is reducing the number of working, like active working. And now this life expectancy, which is making, you to utilize that funds for a longer period. So you have less room for you to pull in for the funds and more room for you to live with it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like a tricky combination, right?
That you have to plan for. You have to plan for. So what are some of the blind spots that people often miss? Of course, one major one that strikes me is probably not starting or thinking that it's important to start early enough. But what are some of the blind spots you've encountered in some of your clients and experienced before?
Right. So one of the client or rather prospect I met, so he's around 45, 48 and he's built a decent amount of corpus and he felt that there is a rental income, there is some bit of fixed income that he's generating from these assets, more like FDs, EPF, PPF. So he feels that, that's going to give him steady income. Along with the rental, he'll be able to take care of his requirement. His requirement is around 3 to 4 lakh per month that he needs post-retirement. And he's about 5 years away to the retirement. Now, the whole blind spots are all in place in this situation, right? So you have not accounted for the inflation, the silent killer, right? This 3-4 lakh per month today is not equivalent to, the same number after 5 years. Taxes are not considered. He's a US citizen. So obviously, what is not taxable in India is not taxable for him, right? So then the whole element of tax is not considered. Now look at this. He's not considered inflation. he's not considered taxes. So overall, if you realize, the real return is not even beating inflation, but his expenses are growing at higher rate, right? So that's like a big number if you see. And when we looked at the corpus that he needs is almost double of what he saved and he thought he needs. Right? So, and he's just 5 years away, and think of the stress that's going to create for him, right? Another thing, medical corpus, all the needs that you require for medical expenses, and with inflation on that, which is double towards to the general inflation, that element is not considered. So these are some of the common blind spots that you miss out in the retirement, and that could cost you dearly.
Is a blind spot also that people forget that their priorities are going to change, so they forget to account for those possible scenarios that may come up?
I think the easy way out from a lot of people is, no, I am not going to live till 100.
Yeah.
I am going to die earlier. I ask them, where is the button? Do you have it with you? When are you going to, trigger it? I think we have to understand retirement from, experiences that others have. So as an example, the Western world does not have a retirement age, right? So there's no concept of retirement. So I don't... Yeah, there's no... Yeah. I mean, India, I think that 58 and 60, the public sector, you will retire, you have to, give up everything and, rest at home. I think that mindset is continuing to run. Whereas the younger generation are moving careers, are moving, what they are doing, I think multiple times in their work career, or the typical older person's work career time.
Yeah.
So they're going to do multiple things. So I'm sure that they will find things to do even in their post-retirement, or what they thought was retirement, because they'll acquire a new skill, etc. Right at that stage. I think the blind spot is that you're looking at things from one side of the window and not seeing what if there's a storm coming or what issues could come up. And sometimes the storms are not that you don't have enough. Sometimes it's you have too much. And what happens is when you have more, that's another big blind spot. We see with people who think that they have achieved more. And to continue from Rohini's example, let's say the situation was that I had 4 times the amount of money that this person had.
Yeah.
So you start thinking, I don't need to do anything. And you don't know what eventuality will come. Maybe a family member needs suddenly a very large sum of money.
Yeah.
And you want to be in a position that, yes, I can help. But because I have not planned for this, or I only looked at my what was visible to me at that point in time, I'm not able to meet that particular requirement. Because I think life is uncertain.
Yeah.
Mortality is certain. However, everybody believes that they're immortal till they actually are mortal. So I think the planning bit needs to be in place much, much earlier, but with multiple scenarios. Don't get stuck with one formula or one number or one asset class or, just one return that you're going to make. To take the cricket analogy, if I need to make 200 runs in 20 overs, I don't have to get 10 runs every over.
Correct.
I will not get 10 runs every over, right? So I think that's the important piece that people need to recognize.
So let's take 2 scenarios, both which you've mentioned. One is when a person has less than, they require for retirement. And then the second one, they have more, right? So, for example, someone comes to you, they've started their retirement planning, and at that moment they have less. What is your typical advice in that situation?
See, I think a lot of behavior aspects come into picture at this time, right? When they have less or when they have more, they kind of drift away from their inherent behaviors, right? So people get very anxious or people get excited. So sometimes people have less and they were like, can you do some magic and, grow the portfolio? Can I take more aggressive risk so that I make more return and, fill up the gap that you are seeing? And that's where the advisor's role come into picture, right? So you have to strike a balance, you know, whether that is really needed, and there could be a certain liquidity requirements that he needs. So how do you balance all of those things, right? And then obviously you'll have to look at what are the trade-offs that can help to bridge those gaps. So I think those things are very important.
I think also sometimes people have more, but they are not, let's say, accounting for inheritance. So it's less the way it is at this point in time. There is going to be inheritance. We don't know when. But they want to take zero from that at this point. Maybe conservatively the right thing to do, but at least being aware that there is a possibility that there is a certain amount which will help take care of this is an important piece. I think the situation that comes when you have more is that you tend to get very lax with not trying to optimize what you can do with different portions of your investment. So, I mean, when you have less, you tend to say, okay, let me invest or save every rupee and put it in a place which is going to generate a little extra. Whereas when I have more, I say, okay, it doesn't matter, you know, even if it gets me zero. So I'm putting it in places where I am losing value of money. So I leave it in my savings bank account, or worst case, you know, worst situation where people have businesses and they leave it in their current account and they're earning zero, but it's just lying over there because I don't know what I should do with my investment. I haven't met a good advisor, or I am just feeling nervous about markets, etc. Or there are so many uncertainties, so I will do nothing. I think multiple of those type of situations.
I think another thing that, like, you know, they say, one of the client I met, he said, I have so much. Do I really need to plan about all this? I just want to, my goal is to make things simple. You know, I forget about return. Returns are the last priority that I have. Another set of clients again has, you know, more than what he needs. He's very aggressive. He's like, I don't need this money. Let this grow for like real good, so that it grows, it multifolds and is there for the next generation. So you have to balance both, right? So the
extremes are never good with money. Let's just be honest. Okay. And I think the last aspect of retirement planning that people may not take into consideration is often the stuff that does not have to do with the money itself, right? The money is there to support us through, you know, different phases of life. And when you're at that typical traditional retirement age, you know, maybe in your late 50s, early 60s, that's also the time in life where you're dealing with a lot of transitions, right? Your family life, if you've got kids, they're transitioning. So how, as advisors, do you help clients deal with the non-financial aspects of retirement planning, and how do those transitions, you know, get navigated usually?
Right. So it's a very important thing to discuss, because a lot of times retirement is associated with all the number game, right? People look at how much I need, where do I invest, you know, how do I strategize my withdrawals, etc. But a whole lot of this emotional side, the whole personal side of retirement is playing in the background, right? So people go through a lot of transitions throughout. There is a phase of pre-retirement. So before even you retire, you suddenly feel that there are no longer regular paychecks that's going to come. So that itself, that very thought itself is going to, scare people, right? So that's when again they move away from their, regular behaviors. They say, can it be more aggressive? Can I, okay, maybe let's move everything into conservative so that there is this pool that's not disturbing. It's just there, and so that I plan my withdrawals, right? So that's the kind of behavior that we usually see, and very important to kind of strike a balance during that time. Now in the retirement you have again whole lot of phases, right? Usually people are excited when again along with that anxiousness is excitement, where okay, finally we retired, there's no routine, there's no alarm, there is no deadlines, there are no client calls. So you are like, okay, let me get into that vacation mode, enjoy my life, complete the whole bucket list that I've set, which I couldn't do it earlier. Now they finish off that period in maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, whatever the timelines. After that, all loss, a feeling of loss, right? The loss of identity, your identity is like X of this company or Y of this company. You lost your social circle, you lose your whole purpose of what it is, right? And the power and the routine itself is again a loss. So all of these loss combined together, that's a whole lot of a difficult phase. At least I've not experienced, but I've seen people going through that, and then they behave very differently during that phase. They have to come out of that phase. Maybe it's better to start thinking about what that new purpose and what's that new identity before even getting into retirement, so that that whole trial and error of figuring it out what I want to do is little bit advanced, so that that whole stress is lesser during that phase. Then they identify what's the new identity. That's how the journey of this whole transition in retirement looks like. So it's better to be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, she mentioned visualize, and I think that's a very important piece. And when we are talking to our clients, we are also sort of imploring them to include family and think about what the family member is thinking about them, not getting up and getting ready and go to work.
Yeah.
How are they going to deal with that piece? And we've had situations where we've seen clients who have retired, and then you meet them maybe 2 months, 3 months later, say, this part of the house is assigned for me. I can't move out of this space, so I need you here because I was over interfering in the immediate retired phase, right? Why is this happening? Why is that not happening?
Yeah, micromanagement comes out at home.
So I think understanding also, I think just like we do for younger couples in terms of planning, that there will be some individual goals each of you has,
right,
but there'll be common goals. I think it's required in retirement too, that each individual in the family, the spouse, will have individual goals and there'll be some common goals. So as long as you can align yourself to that, and asking those questions then become important, not just the amounts. I mean, I need 2 lakh rupees a month, or I need 50,000 rupees a month. Okay, great, we'll get a calculator and we can tell you how much you need, and you say yes, tick mark, I have it. But really, is this giving you peace of mind, or is it now because of the stress that's built up, I am going to go out to the pub more, I am going to go on vacation more in individual, so you're suddenly going to spend more as well. So yeah, I think multiple issues, and we are learning while we meet more and more clients and situations.
Potential retirees.
No actual retirement, at different phases, you learn some of the behavioral traits. And I think the important piece is not to just take that and say copy paste and say, oh, this is the way everybody who is 5 years into retirement will behave. But say this is one aspect. So we at least guard ourselves and our clients, and at least take care of this. Is this something that might concern you? Then address that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this episode has given us a very good idea of what retirement planning entails, and no surprises. It's both, the behavioral aspect of it and the money aspect of it. So thank you, Lovaii and Rohini, for running us through that. And I'm sure it's been useful for everyone listening.
Thank you.
That was an episode of the Simply Lovaii podcast series. Expert with a Heart.
Powered by Timber Media.